Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for August 13th. Okay, so I did not trade today. My mom is here for a visit. So basically, I don't think I'll be trading for the next few days because I need to spend time with her. I only get to see her like once every year, maybe once every 2 years. Anyways, I do want to make a watch list though, because the overall market is actually pretty interesting. And you know what? I might actually make a list and make like a starter size entry tomorrow because overall, I think there is a potential swing trade to be had. And if played safely, I think it could be the start of something big. So let's take a look at the SPY right now. We actually closed on the whole day. The SPY actually faded pretty well, and more so because of the unrest in Hong Kong and the protests right now. So that got Goldman Sachs lowering the GDP as well. And the overall market has been in a little bit of fear. The stock or the overall market, the SPY, has closed right at $288, which is a very key level. As you can see, last time we had a big snap under, it took us a few days under, and then we reclaim, and now we're closing right here, right on it. Now, on the after hour side though, SPY is the futures of the SPY. It's running up a little bit, just a little catch up. What I really want to see is really pay attention to what it does tomorrow pre-market. Personally, I think tomorrow is going to be a start of a big move. After this fade for the past few days here, I think looking for the SPY to retrace a little bit is understandable from this move. It needs like a few days of consolidation, creating kind of like a tight range. So that's what I'll be expecting before the next big move. I don't see how the market can actually pretty much recover from this initial down move here, this big down move, and then we had the gap up, and then now we have filled the gap here on the daily chart. Now, 288, like I said, very key level. If it starts open under, I'm going to look for a pop and drop and continue down. If it opens above, I want to see a dip and see it hold the 288. However, on the moving average side of things, and this is what a lot of the big boys focus on, is the major moving averages, right? We see the death cross coming from the 9 crossing down onto the 50. That's a bearish signal. The SPY today popped up and literally topped out at the 9 and got sold off again. That's another bearish signal. We open under the 100, which is my blue here, 100 MA. That's yet another bearish signal. So the only thing that we're holding above here is the 200 SMA. So overall, to be quite honest, I am more leaning towards the bearish side of things. Now, like I said, during the close, we got bought up a little bit. We got bought back up a little bit from the sell-off, and that is probably some shorts covering up. Now tomorrow, if I am looking for a pop and drop, I do like this 289 area first. I want to watch. Okay, so as you can see, it's basically the bottom of this wick and the top of this wick on August 7th here. So watching for a pop and drop at 289, perhaps maybe 290. Okay, if I'm looking at this spot right here, this is very interesting to me, right? This lows, I mean, if it comes up and tests around this area, yeah, the 290, 289, 50s area, see what it does. I mean, this could be short to enter as a starter size, and I don't expect it to work right away. However, since I am leaning more towards the bear side, I don't mind starting in first, and then as it comes down, and if it confirms and stays under 288, then you jam it and ride it all the way back down to the lows, right? So that's my thesis on the SPY in the coming week. take a look at the watch list right now. First up, we have AMRN. Actually, let me move this SPY chart real quick. AMRN. Okay, so AMRN, I want to load up some drawings on the daily chart here real quick. Just give me a sec here. Let me find that. Here it is. Okay, and let's bring out the daily chart. So AMRN is very interesting. I mean, it started out as a penny stock or a sub $5 stock for a few years, and then it had this fish oil pill that they had, and they had good news on it and ran up, and then the stock kind of stayed above it for almost a full year now in late September, and it followed this nice uptrend. However, a few days ago, it came out with like a negative earnings reaction, and they were also saying that I believe the FDA are delaying one of their meetings for their fish pill drug, right? And with that said, people are starting to panic. Now, looking over here at this action where they announced the news, you would expect that the stock would have sold off right away because of this massive pull down. However, it didn't. So that to me kind of tells me like this was on this day alone when it did pull up and it just held under. It it's either an accumulation of sell orders, right? Or somebody is manipulating the stock, holding it up, getting the longs trapped in the stock before they sell. And today, this big move was basically the sell move and getting the longs out. Okay, so with that said, I mean, if you're looking back on September from 2018, this was basically pretty bullish in my opinion, as it came up, came down and held, and then it started to follow this trend up. It developed a nice cult following on the stock, and it was pretty bullish. So with the stock holding up here on Friday, near and around this 15 area and would not die off, I think that in itself trapped a lot of these cult longs here. And today they pulled the plug on them, and looks like to me that AMRN is about to flush down. Now, as you can see here, this blue line, this is where the current price is at 1380s. Okay, resistance coming into the daily chart here. I have key resistance at 1450. So let's take a look at that 1450 right here. It was 15 to begin with today, now 1450. So I believe this is a good start to a good area to start in short if it does pop back up. And if you can take a look over here on the daily chart, this has a long ways to go until main support area on at 1250. Okay, don't forget, I mean, the stock, this was a sub $5 stock, right? The pop on this news on this fish pill and their main drug here, it got all the longs all happy and got a lot of believers, and now these believers are actually trapped, and I do think the move has started now. Coming over here, looking at this chart, we see a clearly break of the uptrend line long term. We also see that all these signals here, all these moving averages are crossing under in a very bearish manner as well, and then today this signified the move of the dump, and I believe this thing on the swing side of things, the stock, I think it's definitely going to go down for at least a few more months. And that's my personal opinion only. So I'm setting myself up to play on the long-term plan of shorting this. So I might get started on the pop on the starter size, like a very, very small size at 1450. And as long as it stays under this 1550 area, I'm gonna hold myself accountable and say that I'm sticking to this thesis. If it pops back above 1550, or one day it closes above 15, that would be my caution to be careful of my position. Otherwise, as it comes down, I'm going to add to this short swing here. Okay, so that's AMRN, a nice short swing setup that I'll be looking to initiate tomorrow. With that said, because I won't be trading as much throughout the week, that's why I'm looking more onto the long-term side of things. Now, the same idea is with Uber as well. I mean, Uber is fundamentally, it's a company that's been losing money year in, year out, right? On the earnings report, when they announced they lost even more money, we saw this negative reaction, and then on Friday it wouldn't sell. It sold off already so much, but it held this 39 and it wouldn't sell, and it came back up a little bit. Now, with that said, I mean, there are a few explanations. Same thing with AMRN. It's first of all, it's very overextended. Second of all, the big boys, they probably do want to sell, but having a day like this where it held off before the selling and grinding up slowly, I think this really trapped a lot of longs, and today they really pulled the plug on them and started this real move of selling. Now, on the daily chart here, we do see that it's coming into its third day low here. That's where we close off at 36.85, and then the all-time lows for Uber is at around the $36 mark. So this 36 is now key support. We see that today the stock has flushed down hard with massive volume, okay? And this is the key area I'm looking at right now, okay? This $38 level, when they had the earnings reaction and the earnings news and the callus, this was the level that held, right? And to keep the stock up above this level the very next day, I would say that this really trapped a lot of people, trapped a lot of longs, right? You see this massive sell candle that got quickly bought up. I mean, this was a very bullish signals. You see a couple of these candles getting bought up. It's either short coverings, and then it also created this trap for the longs to get in long. And if they didn't get out today, they're pretty much in the water. So at any pop back up to near 38, I do like to get short. Overall, fundamentally, the stock is a piece of shit, right? We have the overall market, the SPY being very fearful right now, and with the China tariffs on the news lingering in September 1st, right? I do like the stock to at the very least test this 36 in the next coming week, and perhaps snap down and keep going under here. So as far as a swing type of trade, any pop back into the 38, I want to get long. I want to get a little bit short on the starter size, and to prove myself wrong, if my thesis is wrong, this thing should be able to recover 39 and hold. I would give it to 39.50. Okay, so drawing a horizontal line around 39.50 real quick here, right? Give it some wiggle room. You see this 39.50 was very key. Even on Friday, it was very key as well. So if it recovers 39.50 and starts holding, then I might caution myself and just call it quits on this thesis. But overall, I'm looking at this thing. It looks like a long-term short for perhaps under 36 and even a little bit more, maybe even $30. Who knows, right? But that's my thesis on Uber right now. So gonna initiate a swing if it gives me a chance here tomorrow on Uber as well. Roku popped up huge. Roku is definitely a main watch tomorrow. I know what you're thinking. It's very, very overextended. Today, the stock popped up on news. Needham came out with an upgrade to the price target of $150. Now, I want to say something about this Needham analyst. Ever since the beginnings of Roku from here, in 2017 November, they have been chiming in on these upgrades, and every time they do, the stock runs, right? I can boldly say that I do recall when they upgraded the stock from November 2017, they have not been wrong. Okay, and even though a lot of people were fighting it, including Citron Research, who failed fighting it. Hey, maybe they made money shorting it, but overall, Citron Research failed on their thesis of saying, "Oh, Roku is not worth the price." Now, the market certainly proved them wrong. Needham is definitely on the bull side of this, and they come out with an upgrade today, and this stock ran, right? So what I want to take a look at here right now, also Roku had a prior earnings as well. What I want to take a look at here right now is this little uptrend line for the past few days, 3 days, I suppose, okay? So, I mean, this uptrend line is not, it's probably not drawn to the T, right? But as you can see, it matches this 130 level. The stock, yes, is very overextended. So buying around these highs is definitely not a good idea. I am anticipating a dip, but just because it's going to dip hard tomorrow, which I will anticipate, or at least at the very open to pull back, that does not make me a bear on the stock. I'm simply probably going to wait it out and wait until it holds some sort of support around this 130 area. We see that it made support at 132.50. So 132.50 is support area. Okay. However, it's pretty weak as a support area. So we'll see what it does from there. But 130 is very, very key in my opinion. On this 30-minute chart, you see this 50 EMA holding it up as well. So I don't know if the stock will run again tomorrow. Probably not from the way it's looking. It's so overextended. I do like the pullback first. I might short scalp it, but overall, I'm very bullish on this ticker and on this name. So as soon as 130 reaches, I'm going to give up my short idea and just wait for the stock to find some sort of a support to make its next run up. In the next few days, I do anticipate a pullback, tight range, lower volume, and consolidation. So that could be a thesis to start on a swing. Okay. With that said, that's my 3 main trades that I'll be looking at tomorrow, as well as on the side here, AMD. Looking on the daily chart, I'm actually very bullish on AMD, right? Ever since the start of the year, this thing is still running pretty strong. Yes, we had a massive pull down day, but it's just a pull down, and it's definitely very understandable for it to pull down. As you can see, it does have trouble around this 34.50, 35 area, and it's pulling down, holding a little bit under 33. Now, this $33 mark is very key in the near term, right? As you can see from Friday lows, it ran, right? We came down under it and it topped out after hours. So really depends on what it does at the 33. If it reclaims on the 33, I do want to see it hold even on the daily chart here on the 33. This is very important, right? So I personally want to see a reclaim first, see maybe the stock get back above and hold above 33, and then I do want to long this. Okay, if it gets stuffed at the 33, I mean the next move down, it kind of just filled the gap already today, and it got sucked right back up. It filled this gap right here. So I like it for the long side, but however, if the market overall the SPY is weak, then it's going to be tough for AMD to get back and climb back above 33. I do expect AMD to hold some sort of divergence though. So with that said, I'm bullish on AMD. On the side watch, we have NVDA. NVDA is the exact opposite of AMD in my honest opinion. Overall, the stock looks pretty bearish right now. After its 3-year run-up and this massive pull down, it just wasn't able to get back above to its former glory. And as you can see, the stock overall on the long term is kind of holding pretty clear and steady downtrend just fading off. Like, I mean, yeah, each day we have a lot of range, but overall on the long-term chart is holding a steady downtrend. Looking at these moving averages, I mean, look at this 9 moving average, crossing all three of them, all three of the major moving averages. Okay, so that's a major death cross here. All these 3 major moving averages on the daily chart are also pointing downwards and starting to slope down. So overall, I am bearish on NVDA. What's important here is the 150 area. Will 150 snap and continue down? So that's the key question I'm asking myself. And with the past prior 2 days selling off, I do anticipate NVDA to hold some sort of a tight range first before the next big move. It's a little bit oversold, overextended to the downside. So marking off some ranges here. 153 would be very key. Yeah, on the near term. Oh, 154, sorry. 154 is very key on the near term. Okay, as you can see, basically, literally 5 days. This is the main key watch area, right? So if I'm a bear on the stock, I'll be looking to short at this 154 area as long as it stays under the 159. Yeah, as long as it stays excuse me, under this 159. I know this is a 4-point range I'm talking about. Just bear in mind, I'm talking more about a long-term swing trading type of plan. So my starter size is going to be way, way shorter than the usual. Okay, so, but sorry, way smaller than the usual, but that's the plan here. And I want to get in short on the starter size and the swing short down under 150. Okay, so looking for a pop and drop. I'm going to give myself a lot of wiggle room. That's basically it on my watch list this evening. I know it was a pretty long watch list. This watch list is a little bit more different than my usual intraday watch list, as I'm talking about more of a swing trade, because I need to match my watch list criteria to my own personal life for the week now. So I hope you enjoy what you watch. Let me know in the comment what you think about my analysis and my opinion, and I'll see you guys on bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.